Hello, and welcome to What I Tell My Brother About Money. Today, I'm actually a little bit excited because I'm going to tell my brother about insurance. Insurance, and I'm excited? Yes. Because see that cute little brother there? I feel it's my job as the big brother to help him in this one. And so insurance is really important. I talk about no disclaimers at the beginning. This isn't specific advice. You might get your plumbing done once. You might get your will done once. And then it might last for decades after that. So just consider that. If something's going to last for decades, I want it to last. Insurance is one of those pieces where you make decisions, and those decisions can go on for a very long time. So you want to get the decisions right. Get specific help with insurance. That's what I tell my brother. All right. My brother might ask, what is insurance? I like this little person. It's picking up a big shield and putting it up against, well, we're not sure. We're not sure what's coming down the line. And actually, it's a funny thing. We're hoping we never use it. I have car insurance. I hope I never get in an accident. I have fire insurance for my home. I hope it never burns down. And that's the same for disability and life and critical illness and long-term care. We actually hope we're not going to use them. On the life one, we know we're not going to be vampires. But it's really important to think about this is a piece that you need in place, and you can't get the shield after the events happen. No one's willing to give me life insurance after I've died. So it's really something that you have to do in advance, and that's important. What would I be telling my brother? There's really only two types of insurance. Very straightforward. There's a tent, temporary, and there's a pyramid, permanent. Pretty simple. Give me some examples, you might ask. I would say to my little brother, well, if you need temporary insurance, consider your mortgage insurance. You don't want to have a mortgage forever, 20-ish years, so you have insurance to cover that mortgage. Once your mortgage is paid off, fold up your tent and away it goes. Now, my brother has 3 kids, and that's probably the most important type of temporary insurance. And that is until the youngest kid's going to some post-secondary, I think you need quite a bit of life insurance. But after that kid sort of started, you can fold up to 10. Now, what if you decide you want to build a pyramid? Under what circumstances would you want to do that? Well, I'll tell you where the most common one is. One is business or farms, and that is where one of the children is taking on the farm and the other one isn't, and you want to create some sort of extra pot of money. Insurance can do that. If you have a charity that you're really passionate about, insurance can create a permanent piece. If you want to replace the income tax that Revenue Canada will take into your estate, that's where permanent insurance can come in. These two visuals would be something I really want my brother to think in mind. Is the need temporary, or is the need a permanent, more legacy money? That's really one of the critical first decisions. And then it's interesting, there's 2 kinds of insurance. There's a living benefit, there's a death benefit. I like the pictures. The living benefit is really these people jumping, and that's what I would tell my brother. Those are benefits you're going to get. If you're disabled, money's going to come into your account monthly. If you have a heart attack or stroke or cancer, those are the big things for critical illness. A lump sum's going to come. You're alive. If you need help with the functions of daily living, as you get older maybe, long-term care is going to come. And they're all going to come to you. Very much, you're the beneficiary of living benefits. When you flip that though, life insurance, which we're very familiar with, just think about it for a moment. For my brother, he's not getting it for himself. He'd be getting it for his 3 kids, for my sister-in-law. That's who he's getting it for. Politely, the people in the graveyard aren't going to benefit from it either. It's not that it's not important, but it's really about, okay, who am I getting this for? So 2 types of insurance. Are you building a tent or a pyramid? And they're really the 2 kinds. Living benefits, is it for you? Or death benefits, is it for someone else? Okay, now what do I do? Well, I have a graph for you, little brother, is what I would tell him. It's a very interesting graph, probably what I would draw for him. It's interesting the fact that this is an idea that all of us got from an insurance company. I say all of us because I was looking for the actual slide. Talked to all my colleagues, my insurance specialists. None of us had the slide, yet every single one knew exactly what I was talking about. And what you'll notice, if you just look at age on the bottom there, At some point, your need for insurance can stop. Let me repeat that. Because I'd say the same to my little brother. At some point, your need for insurance could stop. And I think why all of my colleagues remember this and I remember this is, what company tells you that you might not need our product forever? And yet, that's exactly what can happen with insurance. When we look at insurance, the temporary pieces could stop, and you might need to build the pyramid structures and have some permanent pieces. But here's what I tell my brother. Term life. That is, you can get a really, really, really big benefit for very small dollars. Niece and nephew are looking at it right now. They're under 25. $1 million worth of coverage is like $90 a month. Term 20 years that goes on for. That's impressive to me. So they don't have to make a decision actually until their little one would be in first year university in this case. Pay for the mortgage, pay for that, and then it could stop. Disability coverage. If what you have at work, and what I would say is know what you have at work. When I started last century, disability through employers wasn't great. What I've noticed as I reviewed insurances, it's gotten better. You need to know what you have, and if you change jobs, you need to know what the new disability coverage is. If you become self-employed, as I am, you probably need to get your own disability coverage. Critical illness. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, those are the big ones that people get a critical illness on, and it pays out a lump sum. So you get that, it pays out a lump sum. It's really designed to maybe replace about 1 year's income and just help you transition through. All of those are kind of temporary needs. They fall into the tent idea, and you can see at some point they would end. Where that line is really dependent on, in this case, my brother, and also to you. But there is going to be a period where you're like, I'm self-insured, I'm ready to retire, I don't need disability. I've got a lump sum that I could handle a critical illness. We paid off all of our debts, the kids are in post-secondary, probably don't need term. And it stops pretty dramatically, the need for it. You can stop whenever. When we look at sort of what's on the other side, the more permanent types of insurance that you might consider, on life insurance, you can consider an option that's to convert, where you can move your term to permanent, your tent to a pyramid. But you really have to decide, do I need the insurance? It's a really good question. And it's the question I'd ask my little brother. Is there a business? Is one of you involved and the other two kids aren't? Maybe you want some permanent insurance. Is there a charity? Maybe you want some permanent insurance. The question mark's legitimate. The maybe's legitimate. It's not a one size fits all, and it's really important to talk about. The temporary stuff, you need it. The permanent stuff is really a question. And when you look at long-term care, which typically starts after 75 or 80, it can start earlier than that if you need help with the functions of daily living, that's also a good question. You're going to need this. Is there other options? What would you want long-term care for? So when we look at this lifetime of insurance, my brother might ask, well, what do you have? Everything. Remember, I don't know what shield's coming or what's going to hit my shield. So I've got a shield up against everything. But just as I was sharing, my age is starting to come to the point where temporary term life insurance, disability, even critical illness is starting to disappear. I don't need that. We're moving to self-insured. It's a great spot to be, but it's a different spot for everybody. So really know a lifetime of insurance, your lifetime of insurance. Where are you and your partner in this? I do have a closing thought on insurance. I think it's important. I struggle with this. I can't make it work very well as an investment. That doesn't mean it doesn't have some investment like capacities, abilities, but I think a lot of other investments, when I'm looking at investments, work a whole heck of a lot better. If someone's presenting a strategy to you as an insurance and it's an investment, and you haven't done some of the other basics like RSPs and TFSAs and all your debts paid off, maybe put this one on the back burner. It's not a never, it's a seldom. And I shouldn't say often, I've seen it enough presented that it should be, and I don't see that. I don't want my brother to have a broken piggy bank, nor you. Concluding thoughts, life has risks, pretty simple, insure some of them. If you go through that filter, am I building a tent? Do I need a pyramid? Permanent or temporary? Great piece. Do I need the money while I'm alive, or is this for my loved ones? That's the next piece, right? Is it a living benefit? Is it a death benefit? And then just look at, they're not going to go forever. Where does that end in your case? When it comes to investments, I think you need to examine very seriously the other investment options first before insurance. Questions? I would hope my brother said, okay, help me determine what does my insurance graph look like? What's my lifetime of insurance? And that's something I'd be happy to do for you as well. If you have questions, pause the video, send me an email, or give me a phone call. I'm happy to help you answer and see what your insurance lifetime needs would look like. Look forward to talking to you again for the next video on what I tell my brother about money. Have a great day.